Taiwan isn't exactly known for its dairy. Some local milk drinkers are even likely to choose imported over Taiwan milk. But Henry Gerard, founder of Dida Creamery, doesn't feel the same way, and now he uses local ingredients to craft mouth-watering Western-style cheeses. I visited Henry's facility in Taichung for this week's edition of Taiwan Talk to learn about Henry's journey to becoming an artisanal cheesemaker.
My mother basically gave me the foundations of doing all this kind of stuff. And I guess being in trouble all the time as a kid, so I'd have to wouldn't be able to go outside and play, so I would just be in the kitchen with my mother.
He says he began making cheese because he couldn't find what he wanted in stores.
Anyway, it was hard to find those kind of things, so that's what we did. If you wanted to make something, you had to make it. So I just started to make my own mozzarella, cottage cheese, and then I tried making cheddar and all that kind of stuff, and then it just turned into a job. I was living in Taipei. My son was born. I had to move my homemade cheese operation to my in-laws, and I didn't check the cheese. It was kind of like a cheddar style cheese, and it was just too dry. And there was no way that it was going to age any longer without, it wasn't going to come out. So I wanted to make the potted cheese, and I wanted to make cream cheese. So I started making that, and until it got perfect. Then after that, then I mixed it. I made a potted cheese, gave it away for Christmas, kind of thing. And but then my sister-in-law tasted the cottage cheese, and everyone loved it. So all of a sudden, I'm starting to sell 20. 2 kilos here, there, and then all of a sudden, it started to get out of control. I was doing processing 70 liters of milk in my home kitchen, literally in my living room, kind of, and so I was like, wait, this is crazy. What am I doing? So I stopped, and then at that period, I wasn't working. So my wife and I were just starting to, wonder maybe we could just do something on our own versus working for a company. And anyway, so that's how we started.
Henry agrees Taiwan's cheese market has become more sophisticated. What changed?
I think the Taiwanese people changed. They become more international. Everyone goes away to study. They come back and they're like, hey, I want to eat what I had when I, studied in the States or Europe, and that's what they want. And of course, Taiwanese people they have good taste. You have good food here. You have good, good product. And I think they just realize, why do I need to eat that plastic cheese when I know there's something real?
The Velveetas of the world.
Which, to me, I have no problem with. Every cheese, even that, has its place. If I'm going to make a hamburger or a tuna fish sandwich, I want that cheese,
So what do you say to people who say that for one thing or another, Taiwan's agricultural products, its milk, for instance, aren't as good as the things you get outside? But I don't agree with that assessment, but I want to hear what you think.
Okay, first of all, I don't agree at all, specifically with milk, and especially goat milk. It all depends on the farmer. And I know I've heard a lot of people complain, especially because I don't drink milk. I only eat cheese. I love milk. When it turned into cheese, then I love the quality of our milk, but I just don't drink it. And it's funny because I've lived in Taiwan so long, I'm kind of lactose intolerant now. I can't eat ice cream anymore. I guess maybe because I'm getting older, but anyway, the milk is excellent. The problem with milk in Taiwan, if someone has a problem with it, is what the companies do with it, afterwards. The dairy farmers, you have to understand that milk is a highly regulated product. The government keeps a close eye on how they the farmers work. You have to, because you can hurt someone. But so I think the quality of milk is excellent. It's what the manufacturers do with it afterwards. So all the way up until it gets to, maybe they add water to it. I don't know what they do, because I'm not that guy. I don't sell milk. But there are great milk producers you can buy in the grocery store. I use the product all the time. If I'm at home cooking, and I need to make a creamy pasta for my son, I'll go to 7-Eleven and buy milk just like everyone else. And another good thing about, Taiwan, I've mentioned this before, I'm getting a little off track here, but, like no matter where we are, we're only a half hour to an hour away from where we grow our food. Like I come from Los Angeles, we have a lot of vegetables and everything around where I grew up, but nothing so close as Taiwan.
Henry says luck has something to do with Dida's ability to navigate COVID lockdowns.
A famous YouTube channel came to film us a few months before COVID, and it released literally the week that the first COVID lockdown took place, and we had people in masks lined up down the street, and it was so popular that it crashed our website, and we couldn't deal with orders until the end of May. Like, we were just that backed up. But thankfully everyone was so patient and just like, all right, well, wait, because we could only process so much a day. So we were doing 400, a little over 400 liters a day. That was all we can produce.
I have to ask you what the timeline is between when you start making the cheese and time you finish it.
It depends on the cheese. So like something like halloumi takes about 3 to 4 days altogether. Something like the cheddar cheese curds, 2 days. Mozzarella and all those pasta filata type cheeses, a day. That's one in the morning, shipped out the same day usually.
If you were to talk up your own cheese, what would you say makes it worth a trip, or makes it worth a box to send up to Taipei if you had to?
It's handmade, and we, the milk is good. It's a good product, and we're constantly working to make it better. I mean, that's as much as I can say. That's my best. That's the fun part, is to continuously try to make it better. If not, then it would get boring.
You were listening to Henry Gerard of Dida Creamery, and that does it for this week's edition of Taiwan Talk. I'm Hope Go. Thank you for tuning in.